Have you ever been sitting in front of your GM screen, your computer, or your notes, scrolling through Reddit or Discord, or just watching YouTube videos and hearing stories of epic roleplay, hilarious player antics, or tear jerking finales, and thought, man, why do I never get players like that? Are my games just worse, or am I the problem? Like, here's the truth: you're not a bad GM. And today I'm going to show you why it seems like everyone else is better players than you, and why that feeling is almost always an illusion. So, welcome back, adventurers, to Whispers from the Phylactery. I am a game runner with 15 years experience, 15 plus years experience, and I like to do conversations and discussions on tabletop role playing game philosophy, design, monster lore, and just general how to be a better GM. So let's get into it. And the first thing is the comparison trap. We live in an age of curated stories and social media, podcasts, actual plays, online threads, YouTube videos. It's all filled with the best moments, carefully told, edited, and polished for consumption. I mean, I have seen so much stuff recently on the Clock app, tick tick, with Chuckles the Clown, and I love Legends of Evantris. Um, but what don't we see? We don't see the awkward silences, the missed cues, the players who forget their character's name after 3 sessions, or the ones who just never really roleplay at all. Of course, I guess Legends of Evantris is bad for this because they are a live stream of their campaign. Critical Role, well, mm, in the end, even Critical Role, a lot of what we see is polished, right? So you don't hear about the bad aspects because they don't make for good posts. They don't make for entertaining content. So when you're comparing your raw, messy table to someone else's highlight reel, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. This is something that I also have a really hard time with, whether that's in my storytelling and my game running or in my art. I'm doing exactly what they're doing, but why do people like theirs more? It's an awful feeling, and I want you to know that I've been there. I'm still there. And here's the thing: real games are messy. Every GM has players who, at some point, are distracted, or they're tired, or they're just not into the scene or the game. Real life is messy. Someone might be scrolling on their phone, going through Facebook or Reddit when it's not their turn, completely disengaged. Or someone else is min maxing while ignoring the roleplay element entirely. They're just there to get the biggest number, even though the rest of the party is trying to tell their story. Or someone doesn't show up again because they had something better to do, even though they committed to this. That's all of those things are not a sign that you are a bad GM or that you're a bad storyteller. That's just people being people. Real life doesn't disappear when the dice hit the table. And while we all want and dream of our perfect tables and our, our perfect pool of players, chances are that's not what we get. At least not without heavy curation of who we play with, which has its own issues. So, why does it feel like everyone else's groups are legendary role players, or they're telling these fantastical stories where everything is great all the time, everyone's laughing and having fun? Or is it that why are their players always 100% engaged and paying close attention? This is because people share their best moments online. Actual play shows also cast for entertainment value. They're frequently actors, or they're paid to be there and play the game, almost always paid to be there and play the game in some form. This isn't saying that they can't be friends as well, but for them, it's not just a game, it's a job. And for just anecdotes on Reddit or Facebook or on YouTube, those stories that are read with the Minecraft imagery or the Minecraft footage. Those stories spread because they're exceptional, not because they're typical. And it's not that your table is worse, it's that your table is normal. I want to keep driving this point home because it's very important. Your table is normal. So, what can we do about this? Well, here's the good news. If you want better moments from your table, you don't need better players. Instead, we can try four things. Number one, celebrate the small wins too. Even a goofy joke or clever dice roll can make for a great story. If we get so caught up in the dramatic moments, well, we might miss the forest for the trees with the times our players are having fun. Because if everyone's laughing around the table, that's going to be a story. Even it, if it's the bad guy whiffed and threw himself from the mountain ledge down to a ledge below, that's still a story. Not the one you wanted to tell, but the one that the dice told you to tell. Number two, encourage roleplay gradually. I mean, don't expect everyone to dive into voices right away. Heck, I mean, voices aren't even mandatory. And not everyone wants to be a voice actor or is comfortable doing so or putting on a voice. Role playing is about more than the voice you can put on. It's just for me, I'm happy if people are thinking about what their characters would do and they think about it less of a game and more of the story. Number three is for the GMs and storytellers, set the tone. If you show enthusiasm, players will follow. And I admit that this can be a hard ball to get rolling, especially right at the start of a session where I get really bad anxiety right before I start. And it can take me a few minutes to lock in. But once I get going, then the ball is rolling and it gets a lot harder to slow down. If you're projecting positive energy and engaging, your players will respond to this and they'll also engage. Ideally. Sometimes it is a bad player if they're just not engaging at all. Uh, Number four is communicate openly. Sometimes players don't even know what you want until you say it. I mean, no one's a mind reader. And if they are, good on you, I suppose. Maybe teach the rest of us how to do it. Before the game, talk as a group about what kind of game you all want to play and make sure that everyone's on the same page. And for this, I'm going to harp again on session 0. Talk about the game you want to play. Makes it better for everybody. So I think it's time for a Lich's final thoughts on the matter. That's me, I'm the Lich. You're not a bad GM. You're not a bad storyteller. Your players are not worse than anyone else's. What you're experiencing is the gap between reality and the edited version of reality that we see online. There is a rule for life, and one of the rules I try and remind myself of, and that's the 95-5 rule, where we only see others 5%. We don't see the 95% of the work or just the normal things that go into that 5%. So the next time you're feeling like your game doesn't measure up to those that you've put on pedestals, like Critical Role or Legends of Evantris or any of the other live plays or podcasts, remember, behind every epic tale is a whole lot of ordinary game nights. And that's okay. Because those ordinary nights, that's where friendships are built, laughs are shared, and memories are made, right? So, in the end, that's the real joy and magic of tabletop role playing games and storytelling. It's our shared experience. It's not just getting the best story. Ideally, you get good stories, and you'll remember them for years to come. I still remember some of my earliest adventures. My I remember my first game. It was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. We were 9 or 10 years old uh, in my friend's kitchen because his dad was running a game for us as we explored a fort captured by orcs. And we put just this ramshackle armor onto a goat that we pulled out of the barn. And we didn't want to go into this dun into we opened a trap door and it led down into the mess hall that was currently full of orcs. Um, and we didn't want to deal with this. We were low on spells, we were low on HP. So we kitted out the goat, we threw the goat in, we closed the door, and figured, the goat will hurt a couple of them. Whatever. It'll be a distraction while we can figure something else out. Uh, and then the goat outperformed everybody else. It did more. It had more orc deaths attributed to it than the rest of us had throughout the module so far. And it was the dice tell the story that the dice want to tell. That's all there is to it. And I remember that story. Uh, so little things can happen. Try not to focus so hard on what everybody else is doing and getting hung up on it. I know that's really hard to do. I occasionally have to take breaks from Instagram or YouTube when I'm looking at trying to get inspiration for my art, where they're doing what I'm doing. I and it's just it can be demoralizing. And when you see these game runners or telling these super stories or the live plays, everyone's having fun and laughing, and it's joke after joke after joke, you can start to compare. And comparison's the thief of joy. So, unfortunately, I don't have any great tips for how not to do that other than what I talked about before. And celebrate everything. Celebrate the small things. Celebrate the small ones. Encourage role playing. Encourage people to have a good time. Project positivity. I suppose I should stop rambling. Thank you for tuning in, for listening to me go on and on. So, if you've ever felt the comparison trap hit you, drop a comment down in the comments below. I'd love to see your story and how you managed to move past it, or if you haven't moved past it yet. I know I still struggle. I think I've said that a few times. And at the very last, remember the most important thing: you are not a bad game runner. It's normal. The grass is always greener on the other side. Until next time, adventurers, may your dice roll high and your table stay kind.